Hello and welcome to another episode of Simple Stories Data. I am your host, Joshua Moats, and today this episode is sponsored by Joshua Moats, the guy who tells the stories, and the guy who's pointing to himself. Yes, I promote my own stories, and sponsor them, even though that costs me money. Nah, not really. Anyway, it's been a while since I told my last story, so I hope you're ready for a new one. Today's story is not entirely improvised, but oh well. Just gonna have to deal with it. So today's story is called Dino Moon. And it's going to be an interesting one, because it deals with the dinosaurs of the prehistoric age. Or the not prehistoric age. I don't know what age they lived in. The Tyrannosauric age. There we go. So, our story begins with a very small and fragile little dino. His little bitty arms. He goes like like that. And he doesn't have a name. I don't know why. But he is a small velociraptor. And his signature key item is the diamond pattern on his back. He's always had that since he was a little boy. Now one day, I'm just going to call him Dino, because he's dynamite. Anyway, Dino one day went over to his uncle, because when you're a dinosaur, all your family lives with you, which is very terrible, and you grow to hate your relatives, and then you don't help them when they're old and poor, and you're like, screw you, family. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not going to give you any support when you're old and you can't change your diapers. Well, dinosaurs don't really have to worry about that since they don't have diapers, but I digress. Yep, he went to his uncle, and his uncle wasn't really one of those sane dinosaurs, if you know what I mean. He was kind of out of it, Anyway, so he went up to his uncle. He's like, hello, uncle. What are you doing today? And his uncle's like, well, I can tell you what I'm doing today. And Dino was like, Uncle, when were you so creepy? You're kind of scaring me. And his uncle was like, I bet you want to know about the mountain to the moon. And Dino was like, well, not really, but since you brought it up, why not? And his uncle was like, I will tell you about the mountain to the moon. You see, far, far to the north, there is a mountain, and it goes up to the moon. And Don was like, wow, that was a very riveting tale, Uncle. You're a fantastic storyteller. I should get you published or something. And his uncle was like, hey, you're kidding. Anyway, all the dinosaurs try to go to the moon, because everyone wants to go to the moon. And Dino was like, what's there on the moon that can be beneficial to anyone? And his uncle was like, moon rocks. And Dino was like, I don't have any use for moon rocks. Why do I care about this mountain to the moon? Other than it being a mountain to the moon, which I guess is pretty cool. And his uncle was like, that should be the only reason you want to go to it. And Dino was like, you know what, Uncle? I'm just going to ignore you forever now. I'm sorry. I don't love you. And his uncle was like, it's okay. And so Dino went to sleep, but then the next day, his curiosity grew. This mountain to the moon was very suspicious to him, as we say. And the suspiciousness grew, and grew, and grew, even though he had totally made fun of the mountain to the moon earlier that day. And finally he was just like, fine, I'm just gonna go check out this mountain to the moon, see if it's real or not, see if it has moon rocks or something, and maybe it'll be beneficial some way. I don't know. And so Dino went and he did his little skitter, skittering across the moon. Not really, 'cause you're not on the moon yet. You're just on land in the dinosaur times. Going fast. Faster than anyone you know, 'cause you're a fast little dino. And you're a velociraptor. Pretty scary. At least 2 humans, but there's no humans back in the dinosaur age. And finally, after that long music sequence, Dino made it to a mountain. And when he looked up, he saw that it went straight through the clouds. And it was so huge, he just couldn't see the top of it. He's like, well, this seems like a mountain to the moon, if there ever was one. Huh. I'm not really that athletic. Why did I decide to do this again? But before he could question himself further, he just decided to go along with it, and he decided to climb the mountain. So he got out his little claws, and was like on the rock, and he climbed up slowly, working his way up, 1 claw at a time. And he kept doing that until he got about 5 feet into the air. So then by that time he was really tired. He, like I said, he wasn't the most agile or athletic dinosaur in the world. So he really couldn't climb that mountain at all, unfortunately. He's like, oh, screw this, I'm just gonna go back home. And so he climbed down, starting to climb back down, but then he slipped, and then his leg accidentally hit the rock, and whoa, something weird happened. The mountain opened up and ate him! Yeah, that's kind of weird, how the mountain opened up and ate him, and I accidentally hit the microphone. Oh well. But yeah, a little opening came up into the mountain, and he fell right down into it. And when he fell into the mountain, he saw there was weird sorts of advanced technology everywhere, like something that dinosaurs should not know about. Even more advanced than modern age technology, so you would know how frightening that would be to a dinosaur, since a dinosaur doesn't even know about modern technology, let alone super advanced, awesome technology. So he was just like, ah, ah, ah. Well, not really. He was more like, yeah, or some combination of the two. Anyway, he kept falling and falling until he got into this little tube at the bottom of the mountain. And his paw, well, it's not a paw, it's a claw. His claw accidentally hit a button, and then shoom! He went straight up through the mountain, out through the opening, and there he was on the moon! He had made it to the moon. What an exciting day. But the moon, it wasn't a really nice place. It was cold, and he didn't have any clothes. He didn't have any, what do they call them nowadays? How can I not remember what they're called? That's weird. They're not cloaks. God damn it. Oh well, something comfortable and warm. He didn't have that. Anyway, because of that, he was shivering, and he just couldn't handle the coldness of the moon. I mean, sure, there were moon rocks everywhere, which was pretty not cool, actually, because they're just rocks on the moon. Who cares about that? But, so, he was trying to find a place to stay warm, and he kept walking and walking and walking, hoping to Giorno the English god, that someone would save him, when he happened upon a weird-looking creature. Now, this weird-looking creature was actually a man, but it wasn't actually a man either. It was actually an alien. But he didn't know that, and we didn't know that because we weren't there. But he walked up to this weird creature, and he was like, "Can you, weird creature, even though I don't know you, or probably trust you, could you somehow get me off the moon?" And the alien creature was like, "Don't you realize, Dino? This is your destiny." And Dino was like, "What? My destiny? What are you talking about?" And the alien was like, Don't you see? This moon, you were brought here for a reason. And then soon, the floor under them started to shift and turn, and then drop out underneath them. It was like a falling platform. And the two fell into the moon. And at the center of the moon, there was more advanced technology alien stuff. And then Dino was starting to make the connections. He was like, oh, so that advanced technology in the mountain is also the advanced technology in the moon for some reason. That's weird. And the alien guy was like, yes, but there's an important decision you have to make, Dino, which you don't realize just yet, until I've just told you now. And Dino was like, what important decision do I have to make? And the alien was like, look at that monitor you see here. And Dino looked at the monitor, and he saw that it was a picture of the Earth. And the alien went on to explain, yes, you see, in 1,000 years, the universe will end. And it's all because of your species, the dinosaur. And Dino was like, what? My species is going to destroy everything? How did that happen? And the alien was like, oh, it has to do with, like, I don't know, evolution or magic or something. But yeah, they soon create a giant bomb thing that explodes everything. It's like, why would my species do that? And alien's like, I don't know. They're kind of morons. And Dino's like, yeah, they kind of are. And the alien was like, well, you can correct this moronicness by destroying your entire species except yourself. Dino's like, well, that's kind of mean. I mean, if that happens, I'll be the only dinosaur left. Why would I want to do that? And the alien was like, I just told you like 5 seconds ago. And Dino's like, oh yeah, we don't really want the universe to end. And the alien's like, yes, and you're the only one who can either stop them or let this continue on. Because for some reason this alien technology over here was designed to only be used by you. See the symbol on the control panel over here? And Dino looked and he saw that it was indeed a diamond, just like the one on his back. He's like, weird. Why would an alien thing, people, stuff choose me to decide the fate of my species? And the alien was like, I'm not sure. What, do I look like a scientist or something? I'm just an alien. Now, what do you want to do? I mean, the fate of the whole universe is at your hands right now. And I was like, well, I guess we're gonna kill my species. And he laid his hand on the control panel, and a giant asteroid came out from space and hit Earth really hard. And it caused the Ice Age. And Dino was like, well, I guess I just killed my entire species. That's kind of depressing. Well, what happens now, alien guy? And the alien guy was like, I don't know, want to go out for soup or something? And I was like, oh yeah! And that concludes our story, with Dino and the alien guy going to get soup, as they have wiped out the dinosaurs. And that's how the dinosaurs don't exist anymore. I hope you enjoyed this Simple Stories Theater with your host Joshua Moats. I love you all of you, including you. So I hope you have a fantastic day, and that your day is fantastic. Goodbye.